It's Afternoons with me, Helen Farmer, and I have got a competition for you, and brilliant one if you love your comedy. And quite frankly, who doesn't need a bit of a laugh right now? The Abu Dhabi comedy season is well underway. Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Kevin Hart, already had Trevor Noah, and Michael McIntyre is coming to town May 10th to Etihad Arena. Here he is, feeling a bit nostalgic.
They're so lucky, our children. They've got iPads and iPods and iPhones. In our day, we had I Spy. I spy with my little eye, something beginning with C. Is it cloud? No. Is it car? Yes. Your turn. What? I actually played Thumb War with my 10-year-old the other day to show him some of the games that we had to endure. I said to him, do you want to play Thumb War? He's like, shall I download it? No, you can't download Thumb War. This is a battle between my thumb and your thumb. You know, you interlock hands, you declare it, 1, 2, 3, 4, you don't go straight into battle. I declare thumb war. Then you sort of jockey for position. Then you hold the other person's thumb down and then you're the winner. And I did it with my 10-year-old. He's got his little 10-year-old thumb. I've got my huge daddy thumb. I thought I'd go easy on him. But of course I didn't realise that he's been texting since he was born. He was some kind of thumb war ninja. He just beating me over and over again. Ah, stop doing that. Get back on the iPad.
Michael McIntyre there. So it got me thinking, what have you told your kids about your childhood that shocked them? That had them going, oh my goodness, that can't be true. I said earlier, only having 4 and then 5 channels, like that was quite a big deal. Blew my kids' minds. But honestly, I'm loving the messages coming in on this. Andrea saying, every summer for 3 months, I was literally dumped at my grandparents' farm with no entertainment. Made friends with all the animals. One summer, the chicken was my best friend. We were talking about kids' camps recently, and my kids were like, oh, I'd love to go to Ski Dubai camp. And I was like, I went to church camp for 2 weeks, and I think we just went in the park and sang. that was camp for me, kids. Sarah saying school discos. My daughter's been completely baffled. We used to have a school disco at the end of term, a Valentine's disco, a Christmas disco, a Halloween disco, and used to have a secret Valentine's letterbox. Paddy, you are on the nose, listening to music. Didn't have Spotify back in the day, had to listen to tapes or CDs. Yeah, and you'd wait for your song, or you'd have to put up with that to fast forward to your song. Oh, but you earned it. You appreciated it more if you had to wait for your song. And Veronica is saying, I told my kids I didn't get a house phone until I was 10 years old. No phone whatsoever before that time. I'm still trying to explain we would write to relatives and friends to organise visits. I just keep thinking back to being a teenager and like when boys wanted to call me, they had to speak to my dad first. Like, hi, Mr. Spearman, it's Lewis. Is Helen there? It was the mortification. That took guts, though. So credit where credit's due. So what about your childhood has your kids completely baffled? Let me know on 4001 on the app or the WhatsApp, and you could be going to see Michael McIntyre.
This is Eye on Education on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
With Royal Grammar School Guildford Dubai, sister school of RGS Guildford in the UK, educating the leaders of tomorrow since 1509.
I am so interested in this time of year because it's GCSE and A-level exams looming. So loads of teens across the UAE are heading into study leave. This is a time that can be really empowering, but also really overwhelming. So what does a healthy study leave actually look like? How can us parents support our teens without adding pressure, fueling stress? Joining us in studio, we've got Nicola Doig, who is the interim head of sixth form and the head of year 13 at Repton Dubai. So we're going to be getting some expert advice on motivation and well-being and how to guide students. And of course, if you want to send any questions for Nikki, you can do that too. Tell me, Nikki, before we get into expert advice, what were you like at school? What was your own study leave like? Can you remember much about it?
That seems like a very long time ago now.
Sure, it wasn't.
Firstly, thank you for having me this afternoon.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. But yes, I did try and be the good student, and I very much tried to. I needed silence in an area that was, complete silence without distractions. I couldn't quite work with music in the background or any noise, or I needed that structure and silence. So
were you quite self-disciplined and motivated then, Nikki?
I was indeed. I had an older sister that wasn't quite like that. So when I went up to high school, I very much had to get the Doig name back back as a good,
the reputation.
Knowing that I had younger siblings growing up, I had to redeem that reputation. Yes, so I was quite disciplined.
Oh my goodness,
maybe
I was like your older sister. I remember doing a lot of highlighting and thinking that that was the same as studying. It wasn't. And I definitely, especially during A-levels, I did English literature, French and sociology. And I really loved English literature and sociology. And I was really good at them. And I was rubbish at French. And guess what I focused on? The ones that I was good at. And I completely ignored the subjects that I really, really struggled with. But I wasn't very self-motivated. There was a lot of dossing around. And there was a lot of, oh, mum and dad are at work, I'm just going to sit and watch TV. At one point, my mum had to take the card out of the Sky box and take it to work, so I couldn't watch TV. So I'm hoping I'll learn from you to pass it down to the next generation of farmers. So, to your mind, what does a healthy, if that's a weird word to use, but a healthy study leave actually look like in practice, Nikki?
So at Repton, we believe, and we very much encourage our students, that a healthy study leave is one that strikes a balance between structure, flexibility and well-being. It's not locking yourself away in a room for hours and hours and, like you say, thinking that just doing a few highlights and reading a textbook is going to be successful. But instead, it's having a clear daily routine. It's waking up at a consistent time. It's eating properly. It's including blocks of revision time. So ideally 45 to 50 minutes with regular breaks. For example, a student might revise from 9 to 11 a.m, break for 30 minutes, revise again from 11:30 to 1, then have an afternoon where they might bring in some exercise, a gym, a walk, a release.
Something social
to break up that revision.
It must be hard though, because you'll have different personality types. You'll have the dossy deceivers like me, and where you want to get some work done, and then I presume at the other end of the scale you'll have these really high achievers who will put massive pressure on themselves to then, this is the grade I want to get, and then whether that pressure comes from themselves or the parents or the school is kind of immaterial, because the outcome is the same. Is this idea of, I've got a finite amount of time, this is the result I want to get, and they really want to push themselves. Like how can parents, and I guess the school as well, also kind of tailor the support to avoid academic stress? Yeah,
absolutely. Look, parents will know their child and their personality and what works best for their child. And obviously as teachers as well, we should know the student and the personality and what's going to engage them. So with high achievers, they often put obviously pressure on themselves. So support here would mean encouraging rest and reminding them that their self-worth is not just tied down to these grades. I've worked with students that think hours and hours of revision and working from morning to night is going to be effective. But instead, what we have to do is help them build in kind of permission to pause, and reminding them it's about the quality, not always the quantity.
Exactly. X number of hours is not going to equal X grade necessarily. If they're burnt out and not sleeping and stressed, it's probably going to be the opposite. That's
it. And just reminding them, and guiding them through revision and support plans that we have in place. And obviously with the flip side with that, we have the avoiders or underconfident students. Then they often have fear and procrastination, and they're put off revision to avoid the stress. And with these students, we always feel that they need the positive reinforcement, they need small achievable goals, and support to get started, even if it's just instilling a 10-minute rule, just to revise for 10 minutes to get them in the mode. And once they start, hopefully the momentum often builds up. But, we say about procrastination around subjects that they might not feel confident in. We always try and revise, like you said before, that the subjects that we do feel confident in. But it's really, really trying to engage and make those subjects that the students don't feel comfortable or confident in, and finding a way that's going to engage that, make it more interesting. Exactly. Yeah. And then when they see the rewards of this, obviously that will then instill the confidence, and they could tick off their to-do list with that.
We are going to be addressing, of course, the elephant in the room, or shall I say on the desk, mobile phones and social media. So maybe managing some digital habits. Joining us in studio, we have got the interim head of sixth form and the head of year 13 at Repton Dubai, Nicola Doig. So if you've got any questions, 4001, what kind of student were you? Let us know.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
With Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
3:15, Jen. What's happening on the roads?
It's busy.
Very, very busy. Hesse Street busy in both directions. There's an accident right now on Asail Street, just at the junction with Sukim Street, which is looking kind of car park like in both directions, all the way from the 311 down to Beach Road. Sheikh Zayed Road, very slow moving in both directions, particularly slow southbound once you get to Safa Park. That'll ease off around Al Quoz, but it is busy more or less the length and breadth. Obviously still very busy around Trade Centre. And then once we get north of the creek, the 311, you're going to hit the slow-moving traffic around Murdiff, and it's going to continue right the way through Sharjah's industrial area. Similar story as you head southbound. There's an accident through Sharjah's industrial area on the S112 causing problems right now. And then the Sheikh Zayed Road, particularly busy southbound, although we do have some slow-moving traffic northbound. And then on the northbound carriageway of the E11 just past DXB, we also have an accident that is causing tailbacks right the way back to the creek if you're heading northbound to Sharjah. So one to be aware of too. If you see anything that I've missed, please do let us know, 4001. But as always, please only text us when it's safe for you to do so.
Thank you, Jen.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
Not that I'm wishing the weekend away, and trust me, I am not. But on Monday afternoon, we are having another catch-up with House and House, as we do every Monday at 3:30. Now, Monday just gone, we were chatting? It's a mixture of catching up and chatting, by the way, with Simon Baker, who's the MD at House and House. And we were talking about areas that are perhaps underrated and overrated, and his advice for first-time investors. Now, this coming week, we're actually looking at the House and House investment playbook. So if you are thinking about dipping your toe in, this is going to be absolutely essential listening. But if you do want to catch up on my chat with Simon from earlier in the week, where he would be putting the smart dirhams, you can get that on the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. That's Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and the Dubai Eye website too.
More of Afternoons with Helen Farmer is coming up next.
On the UAE's #1 talk radio.
You're listening to Dubai Eye 103.8. It is ABBA. Mark your diaries. I mean, I feel like I'm saying this a lot right now. There is a lot happening in Dubai and indeed Abu Dhabi. Here, though, Jim Jeffries, Son of a Carpenter World Tour is happening on May 24th. Oh my God, I can't believe we're in May. It's the Coca-Cola Arena, named Stand-Up Comic of the Year in 2019. livenation.me to get your tickets, which start from 195 dirhams. And of course, I am giving away tickets for Michael McIntyre. Loving the messages coming in on this. So don't forget, if you fancy winning those tickets, stay with us and I'll tell you how after 3:30.
This is Eye on Education on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
With Royal Grammar School Guildford Dubai, sister school of RGS Guildford in the UK, educating the leaders of tomorrow since 1509.
It is study leave time. It can bring freedom, but also stress. So we're asking this afternoon, how can parents help their teens stay motivated and focused and well? I think that's really important during exam season. Nicola Doig is here. She's from Repton Dubai, talking about some practical tips on managing study, screens, and student well-being. Right. I mean, I am in my 40s and find myself regularly distracted by my phone, Nikki. So what chance do these teenagers have? Any advice on students trying to manage those digital habits while revising? Well, I don't know, but maybe we can use tech for good. Are there any apps that you recommend?
It's a very good question, Helen. It's obviously a massive challenge, obviously, in our modern world. But there are indeed some practical steps that we advise students to have. So, for example, designated phone-free blocks to put the phone, I know that's easier said than done, to put the phone in another room during revision. Students can simply use a normal timer or the Pomodoro Technique, which is a 25-minute work, and then do 5 minutes, 25 minutes of work and then a 5-minute break.
About using something as revolutionary as a clock.
Let's go back to the good old days.
Good
We
grief.
survived it, so we could still do it. Other apps that may be advantageous are the Floro app. The Floro app is an excellent study tool for teens preparing for exams because it combines focus, accountability and digital well-being.
Sorry, just say the name again for me.
The Flora app.
Flora as in flora and fauna. Okay. All right. Sorry. Oh, the butter spread.
The butter spread. And it obviously reduces phone distraction because it encourages students to put their phone down, and it rewards them for doing so with visual progress. And it's perfect for those that may be tempted by Instagram, TikTok or WhatsApp.
Yes.
It also allows students to study with friends, where they can plant a tree together, and if anyone uses their phone, the tree dies for everyone. So if you're competitive, that might be a bit of a light-hearted but effective form of peer accountability.
Message here from Julie Mallon, fantastic sleep consultant here in the region from Nurture to Sleep, and she's saying it's so boring, but sleep is so critical. Research shows teenagers in particular miss out on that REM sleep, so it affects their memory and their emotional regulation. I mean, you must see this, kids coming in looking absolutely broken from studying all night. So, it must get sacrificed during exam time, Nikki.
Absolutely, and it is really difficult because they're obviously trying to strive for the best academic grades possible, and trying to cram all this knowledge in from 2 years of content. But we always advise students through assemblies, through PSHC lessons that and students would get 8 to 9 hours of sleep consistently do better on memory and problem solving tasks. And at Repton, when we deliver these sessions, we often talk about a really fantastic book actually to read, which is Why Do We Sleep? And that's by Matthew Walker.
It's a good one.
It's really, really beneficial, and it goes into depth about the benefits, importance of sleep, and it explains how sleep boosts memory and learning, and how good sleep improves resilience and emotional control. And we've actually had students that have reverted back to us and said that, making reference to the book is a great guidance and preparation for study and routine and exam preparation as well.
Just had a message from Joel saying, this app helps me stay away from my phone. He sent me a picture. It's called App Lock. So it's blue and it's got a little white shield with a blue padlock on it. I think I need to get on that. Right, we've got 30 seconds left, Nikki. So last question, I guess. Small habits, mindset shifts. What have you seen make a big difference in student wellbeing? What would your big kind of quick takeaways be?
Obviously, small changes can have a huge impact. So just starting the day by getting dressed and sitting at the table, it signals to the brain I'm in work mode, and it sets productive routines. Using positive self-talk and rewarding yourself and praising yourself that, replacing I'm bad at this is, it's not quite going into, I'm still learning this. It's a journey.
Growth mindset.
Absolutely. Celebrating the small wins, finishing a past paper, reward yourself, take time out for a coffee or your favourite lunch. But I always think as well, encouraging movement is so important, having that social time with friends. Our students seem to think that life should stop during study, but actually if you are part of a football team or you're part of a netball team or a club or dance or whatever it is that engages you out with your your home life, that is still important to continue. Exercising is key, as we know, to releasing stress, and it's really important to keep those good routines up.
And as a parent, just, big picture.
Absolutely.
Nikki, thank you so much for your time today. Really, really appreciate it. We're going to be hearing from a student next. So her words of wisdom. Do keep your messages coming in on all things nostalgic. I've got some fantastic messages to read out to you, and I want to hear yours. I've got tickets to Michael McIntyre up for grabs.
Your ARN News.
A UAE delegation led by Reem Al